There is nothing worse than opening your dryer expecting warm clothes and finding a wet pile instead. You see that little error code blinking, and you just know your day got more complicated. But don't worry, we're gonna fix that.
Okay, let's dive right in. If your dryer is flashing an F8 or maybe even an E8 code, you are in exactly the right place. This is a really common error, but it's also a serious one. So in the next few minutes, we are going to walk through a clear, step-by-step plan to figure out what's wrong and how to get it running again. So, first things first, what is your dryer actually trying to tell you with that code? It's not just a random set of characters, it's a specific SOS message coming directly from the machine's brain.
And here's what that message says: motor circuit fault. Basically, the dryer's main computer, which is called the motor control module, or MCM, has found a major problem with the motor system. This isn't just a little glitch. The dryer has shut itself down as a safety precaution. It's kind of like the check engine light for the very heart of your machine.
Okay, so it's time to play detective. We know there's a problem with the motor system, but what specifically is causing it? Let's line up the usual suspects, because a few key components are almost always to blame. So here they are, our lineup of potential culprits, and we've put them roughly in order of how often they're the bad guy. Right at the top, you've got the drive motor itself. But it could also be something physical, like a jam, a bad control board, or even a tiny pulley that's seized up and is putting way too much stress on the whole system. And this chart? Well, it pretty much screams who our number one suspect is. Far and away, the most common reason for an F8 error is that the motor itself has an internal problem. Maybe a winding is burned out or some other part has just given up. And that's exactly why our investigation is going to start there. All right, let's get hands-on. We're about to do the single most important test to figure this out. And the best part, you don't need a single tool to do it. This one simple move is going to tell us which road we need to go down next. But hold on. Before you do anything else, and I really can't say this enough, unplug the dryer from the wall. I mean it. Go to the wall outlet and pull the plug completely. We're about to put our hands in the machine, and safety is absolutely number one. Okay, this is what we call the manual drum spin test, and it is so easy. Just open the door, reach in, and try to turn the big metal drum by hand. Pay close attention to how it feels. Does it spin? Is it stuck? The answer is going to tell us pretty much everything. And just like that, you've cut your problem in half. If that drum is totally stuck or really hard to turn, you've got a mechanical issue. Something is physically blocking it. But if the drum spins pretty freely, with just a little bit of drag from the belt, then your problem is almost certainly electrical. The mechanics are fine, but the motor isn't getting the juice or the command to run. So if your drum was spinning freely, hey, that's actually great news. You've narrowed it down big time. Now we just need to track down that electrical fault. And we're going to start by putting our number one suspect, the drive motor, on the stand. Now for this next part, you are going to need a simple little tool called a multimeter. You can grab one at pretty much any hardware store. We're going to set it to measure resistance, which looks like the little omega symbol for ohms. This basically lets us peek inside the motor's wiring to see if the electrical paths are clear or if there's a roadblock. Think of this table as your ultimate cheat sheet. Once you get to the motor and unplug its wires, you'll touch the multimeter probes to these specific points. If you get a reading that says OL, that means open line, the electrical highway inside is broken, a bridge is out. If you get any reading when testing from a terminal to the metal motor frame, that means it's shorted out. Either one of those bad readings is a confession. The motor is guilty. But what if the motor passes the interrogation? Well, then it's time to widen our search. You're going to want to carefully look over the wiring harness. Do you see any black soot or burn marks, especially on the plastic plug that goes into the control board? If the wiring looks good and the motor tested fine, then by process of elimination, all the evidence starts pointing to one thing: a failed motor control module. The brain itself is the problem. So, we've done our detective work, we've followed the clues, and we've identified our culprit. Now comes the big moment, the verdict. It's time to decide on a plan of action. Are you going to make the repair, or are you going to call for backup? First, let's just talk about the elephant in the room, the cost. These major parts, a new motor or a new control module, they aren't cheap. You're realistically looking at anywhere from about $150 to $300 just for the part itself. And that's definitely a big factor in what you decide to do next. So this really boils down to a classic dilemma. If you do it yourself, you save a good chunk of money on labor, but it is a moderately tricky job that'll probably take you a couple of hours. On the other hand, calling a pro costs more overall, but it's fast and you know it's done right.
Honestly, there's no wrong answer here. It's all about what works for your budget, your schedule, and just how comfortable you feel taking things apart.
And hey, if you do decide to go the DIY route, you have to remember these crucial pro tips. Seriously, write these down. If you replace the motor, always replace the little idler pulley at the same time. A worn-out pulley is often what killed the old motor, and it'll kill the new one too. And no matter what you fix, always, always give the whole machine a thorough cleaning to get all the lint out. That'll prevent overheating and make your repair last so much longer.
So, think about what you just did. You went from having this frustrating, mysterious error code to having a clear diagnosis and a solid plan. You're in control of the situation now. The question isn't what's wrong with my dryer anymore. The real question is, what are you going to do about it?